May I have your attention, please? Good evening.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. We thank you for tuning in and hope you enjoy another exciting episode of our show.
Another episode of Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. It's six-man Dean Geronimo, and as always, from NJ to NC, I'm in the studio with my right-hand man, Mark Lee. So, Mark, why don't you rewind and tell him what you did last time?
Hey, you know, it's been a busy week as always. Of course, I had to get over there and check out a little bit of the Super Bowl. We had all kinds of events with our two churches that meet at Hayti on Sunday, but I did get there in time to see the second quarter as well as the whole second half and the halftime show. So definitely got a chance to enjoy some fine performances. Like I said, when I got there, it was 10-10, and then I looked up, San Francisco was up 20-10, but somebody forgot to tell them that Kansas City likes to come from behind, and once again, they did it again and won that Super Bowl by coming from behind. So I was jokingly telling folks over there at Tobacco Roadhouse, one of our local sports bars, I think next year every team should just let Kansas City get out in front. Try to see if we can't do like a reverse psychology on them, because it seems like all year long they would let other teams get ahead, and then they come back and win the game. So I'm thinking next year we got to reverse the philosophy.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I mean,
let them get the lead early and see if they can handle the lead, since apparently they like to play from behind. They've done that several times this year. So I did that. And on Wednesday over at the Hayti Dyer Center, we had a group of folks that were connected to North Carolina Central University that are involved in a lot of their arts kind of programming. So there were people there from the drama department, people there from the dance department, people there. There was an artist, a very talented artist. I mean, I was just amazed by his artwork. And then there was some vocalists that were just rocking able to really rock you out and things of that nature. So that was just a great performance. Got to see those fine performances at Central. You know, they got a strong reputation in all four of those departments, and all of those folks represented quite well. The drama folks were actually doing a little bit of a excerpt or kind of a reenactment of what would have been involved if Best of Enemies, which we know is a movie based on Ann Atwater and her friendship with a Klansman here in Durham, what would have been going on if they had had dialogue with Dr. King. So there was actually some kind of recreation of historical moments and how that kind of exchange would have gone if those had been in the same time frame. So that was definitely an interesting piece that they did, and I was quite pleased with the way that they did that. Like I said, the dance interpreter did a real good job of their dance interpretation. I think it was more than one, if I remember correctly. And then definitely those vocalists, they just, took folks to church and back again and did all kinds of great performances. So definitely was impressed with that. And then on Friday, I believe it was, we had a political candidate in town. She's going to be running for county commissioner, Miss Fikes, Tara Fikes. And I've talked to her about trying to get on the show with us at some point in the near future. But she was having a kickoff event or trying to get her folks mobilized and things of that nature. She knows that she's in an uphill fight because, as we've talked about on this show several times, Durham is very much of a town of political PACs and things of that nature, and she did not get the endorsement of any one of the big three. So she's got an uphill fight because she's going to have to mobilize her people real strong. And as one of her mentors, a professor at NCCU, pointed out, he didn't have the backing either. So he was saying that it is not impossible to be done, but it will definitely be an uphill fight, and you're going to have to bring your serious A game if you're going to pull that one off. So that was going on. And then, like I said, those are kind of the highlights of this weekend. Of course, people are still dealing with the tragedy of Kobe's death and things of that nature. As a matter of fact, I was reading earlier today and was talking to a friend of mine. Apparently, there was in the halftime show some subtle references to Kobe that apparently people missed. And I'm not going to lie, I missed them too until I read the article and they were explaining that that's what that was all about. Because apparently this was a Jay-Z production in terms of having J-Lo as well as Shakira and Bad Bunny, and I forget the other gentleman's name. So definitely a very strong Latin kind of flavor to the Super Bowl halftime show that was going on this particular weekend on yesterday. But apparently at some point, one of those symbols was in the colors of the Los Angeles Lakers. So apparently that was one of the cues that was supposed to be a tribute to Kobe. And then there was another one where I think J-Lo brought her one of her kids, one of her daughters out to sing a song that dealt with that. And apparently there were also some references to some of the situations with migrants. Apparently that's what that whole cage thing was all about. And there might have been some symbolism going on with the Puerto Rican flag. That's right, because I did find out that J-Lo is a supporter of Puerto Rican statehood. So apparently her coming out in the Puerto Rican flag on one side and the American flag on another was her way of saying that that's what she's all about. I know there's mothers that would just like, to leave the U.S. all alone and just be strictly independent as an independent country. But I think that she's on the side of statehood. So apparently those were some of the subtle references that people have caught and have commented on. As always, I watched the commercials. Some of them I was definitely enjoying and finding to be quite hilarious. A couple of other ones had me scratching my head going like, I don't know that I get it. But, that's why they create these commercials, hoping that we'll get them. And sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So I'm not going to lie, there were a couple of them commercials that I was scratching my head about. I'm sure you were scratching your heads on a couple of them as well. I'm still not too pleased, and I know some folks are saying that, that put in equalizing plights that we go through as minorities to those of animals was not cool of PETA in the first place. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, because I think that the NFL should have put on the PETA commercial. I actually put it on a couple of pages that I work with on Facebook, or maybe just one, but definitely did put it out there. And like I said, when I saw the commercial and the animal taking the knee, and I do believe that we do need to definitely have respect for all of the human population, but we also need to have respect for our animal kind as well, and Mother Nature just in general. And I think that that's basically what the PETA ad was saying. But, the NFL decided that was a little bit too close to Colin and his a plea for Black Lives Matter and other things, and they just decided to pull it all together. Apparently they got some backlash, PETA did, because some folks were feeling that, making a comparison of animal rights to human rights and things of that nature was not a fair comparison. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that philosophy, but I do agree that people have the right to think what they think and how they want to think about it. But I thought that they should have aired the commercial. At least that's what I thought. And like I said, when I saw the ad and saw the fox and, the fish and some others taking a knee, I thought that, hey, sometimes we do neglect our animal brethren. And I don't think that they were saying, don't eat us, because we know that it's part of the, food chain and things of that nature. But I do think that we do have to respect the ways that we handle Mother Nature. Even if we're going to go out there and go hunt and do certain animals for food, I still think that we have to have respect for the whole food chain and for just Mother Nature in general. I think that's why we're in kind of trouble that we are now. I mean, it's February the 3rd, and it's 70 degrees here in North Carolina. So it might be a little cooler now, maybe 60 or 50, but still, it's February 3rd. I would expect that I would be, throwing on coats and jackets and other stuff, and I would do it good with a light sweater today. So, like I said, folks say climate change is not real, and we don't need to respect animal life, but I, for one, do not necessarily agree with that, and I thought that they should have run that particular commercial, but hey, that's just my opinion. I don't know what you thought. Were there any commercials that caught your eye? And what did you think of the game? I mean, were you happy that an AFC team won? I know we would have preferred the Ravens.
We would have preferred the Ravens, but it didn't happen that way. But the AFC has won the Super Bowl, so for that part, I'm good with that. Didn't watch too many of the commercials. I kind of zone out when commercials come on TV, because I'm like, they pay to advertise. That keeps my show going. Right now, my show is the Super Bowl. So, it was a good game, and it was like 9 minutes left in the game or so, and San Francisco was up. I was like, man, there's still a lot of football left to play. And some people were like, nah, I said, you never know what's going to happen. And from that point, Kansas City just came back. So for, I see a lot of people in this area. I live in the Philadelphia region of New Jersey, so I'm closer to the Philly side. But, a lot of congratulations for Andy Reid. Of course, he coached the Philadelphia Eagles for 14 years before going over to Kansas City. So now he has a ring to go, not with Philadelphia, but nonetheless, he is now a Super Bowl champion. Also, some Baltimore fans gave Terrell Suggs congratulations for winning a second Super Bowl ring, not with us, but with Kansas City. And that's where he ended up going, when he was released from Arizona. At first he said he would retire before he would go to any other team than coming back to Baltimore, but it doesn't work like that. So when Kansas City claimed him, he was like, you know what? All right, well, I'm going to go over here. So now he's a two-time Super Bowl champion. Shout out to Terrell Suggs, one of the Ravens, that will never be forgotten. So other than that, man, it's been, it was in the 60s up here. I don't mind it being warm in February because usually we're stuck with snow and having to clean off driveways and sidewalks and all of that stuff. So to have missed the snow this year, I can't complain too much.
So if it does not snow at all in the month of February, and by the way, the groundhog has predicted, that famous one, Mr. Phil, has predicted that we are going to have an early spring. So if Phil and the rest of the weather man are correct, and this weather is going to be this way for the rest of February, going into March and April, which of course is headed towards spring, you will have no complaints with that whatsoever. If that is the case and the weatherman has come up with the correct thing, you'll be perfectly fine with it being 60s, 50s, 40s, anything that's above freezing. If we can get that for the rest of the winter, you'll have no problem with that whatsoever. So you're not one of those folks that's rooting for snow.
Not at all. Some people are like, oh, God, let it snow. I see people on social media, I want snow. And I'm thinking, you obviously don't have that responsibility of shoveling the driveway and sidewalks and people driving like NASCAR and slipping and sliding in the snow. You must stay at home. I don't know, but some people love the snow. I'm not mad at them. I happen to be one of those. I can take the cooler weather, no snow, and we can keep on rocking because then we're not held up with states of emergencies and things like that. So I'm not mad at it at all.
So you could care less at all. You like whatever. It's like we're just gonna let it go and have fun without the snow. And by the way, I understand that one of the Super Bowl commercials, we retired a character. That's right. Mr. Peanut has gone off to better days, and but apparently Baby Nut came back. But Mr. Peanut has gone off to better days, and that was one of the commercials that was out there. Of course, there were commercials for high-tech things out there like Google, and of course there was the Cheetos popcorn commercial and things of that nature. And there are definitely some interesting commercials, like I said, out there as part of the Super Bowl. Did you catch the halftime show, and what did you think of the halftime show?
I did, and it was a good show. Like, people critique the hell out of anything, but to me, to perform on that stage in front of all of those people and to have a decent show, and you had not one but two artists who are, better known, and for them to come together and have that show together, it was awesome, man. That's my thought. I'm not getting into that, oh, well, it should have been this or it should have been that. First of all, everybody that's complaining would never get on that stage. They won't even get the opportunity to perform at that level. So, you can sit at home and say what should be and what is, but at some point we got to learn to appreciate things that if it's decided to be that way, then so be it. If you don't like it, then go do something else during the halftime show. But obviously, even in the middle of your critique and your complaining, they got your ass to watch it. So that was the biggest thing. That